Good morning, everybody. This is the road to nowhere. I am in the big house. I'm house sitting for a couple of days, so I have been staying here. Have not done a video in quite a while. Actually, I've done some, but I just didn't have time or take the time to post them. So I will be posting several today. Uh, the main ones are on the sorghum harvest and the milling of the sorghum, and then the straining of the sorghum, the boiling down of the sorghum, and then the finished product. There's also a little short video on the tankless water heater. I was having some problems with it, some anomalies in its operation that were inexplicable until a simple change explained all of it. Just sort of settled into the road to nowhere, living in the tiny house. It continues to be a source of incredible enjoyment. I did have a short career I tried going back out into the work world. There were some finance problems or issues, concerns, more than issues or anything else. And so I agreed to go back into the corporate world and attempt just a small part-time job, but that turned out to be less than beneficial. So I had to leave that endeavor and come back to the road to nowhere and stay here as was the plan. And the chips will fall where they may. That is what the road to nowhere, part of what the road to nowhere is about. So for a couple of weeks, from about Labor Day on till today, there was a slight hiccup in the intent of the road to nowhere. So I won't go into details. It's not important. It's just the lesson that I learned from that is once you set your course, stay the course. It's very easy to have outside influences come in and with the best of intentions and with tremendous advice and with what would be considered very reasonable and very rational advice. Uh, the road to nowhere is not a rational thing. It's really not. It does not make much sense on the face of it. There is no need to be self-sufficient at the present time. There are systems in place. People do make it through life every day, so it's not really required. But what I lost sight of is I'm not doing it because it's required. I'm doing it to see if it can be done. And in any project, I always go with feasible, practical, and appropriate. Feasible is can we do it? Practical is it is a good idea, and then appropriate is once it's accomplished, will it solve the problem that it was meant to set out that you set out to solve? And what I did is I let the appropriateness of the road to nowhere come into question. In other words, the problem that it's intended to solve has nothing to do with the society at large. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with my ability to sustain an income that will provide for my needs. It has nothing to do with that. The thing it has something to do with is can it be done? And that's it. And that's it. And if I don't stick to that when I get through with it, then I won't know whether it can be done or not because I didn't do it. So feasible, yes, I can do it. Practical, is it a good idea? I think so. Appropriate, it's only appropriate if I do it. And in the doing is what makes it appropriate. So I have to stick with that and make sure I don't get off course again. And that is one of the major reasons that there has not been a video lately. As I say, the videos that are in today are sorghum production and a consideration on a tankless water heater that I think would be very instructive for people that are thinking about going that route. So This will be the first video that you come to in order. The others will be the tankless water heater and its solution, and then there will be 3 videos on sorghum production. So I hope you enjoy them. The Road to Nowhere is still it is absolutely the most peaceful, um, content way that I have lived in a very long time. And it would very much be disappointing if it were not sustainable. If it's just not possible in this society, in the America that we live in today, if doing this is just not possible, if it's just not acceptable, then I think we've lost something very important in this country. And maybe that will be the next set of blogs if it turns out to be that way. And maybe I need to do those in parallel to say the significance of something that's going on, because it's more than just a tiny house and a garden and some sorghum cane and a dog named Hank. It's more than that. It's much more than that. But I don't think that the things that it's more than would be very understandable unless you see the result first and then see the thought patterns behind it. So I'm trying to stick just with the facts. Just this is the way it is, and this is what I'm doing, and this is why, and why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, and then why am I doing this big picture, big ball, is for later. This is small ball. This is small ball. This is a guy on 3 acres of land with a tiny house and a few pieces of equipment and a dog named Hank, and nothing more than that. That's all it is. But if it can't be that, then the big ball doesn't matter. So I'll stick to the small ball right now. So you got some small ball videos that if you go one after the other in order that they are posted, then it should tell the story back to where the last one came in. So I hope y'all enjoy it. I am back to having fun, and it is great. So y'all have a wonderful day. Talk to you later.